Yeah, honestly, fuck the regs. That's one of the things. That's one of the things I've really had a hard time with in Bad Batch. It's just how rude the clones are as a result of Order 66 and their inhibitor chips. They're just jerks, all of them.
It really, and it was odd how much it messed with their personalities, but it makes me like really wonder, like what do those chips actually do? Like, aside from getting you to like follow an order, is it like, hey, this low-key lobotomizes you and like you now can't, you can't tell? Like, those are the questions that like it really started to pose to me. And Bad Batch really made that, when it's like they get back and it's like, we can tell that you don't think like us.
And I mean, to me, it's like kind of resetting them to factory setting. You know, all of the loyalty and admiration they had for their Jedi generals was just reset, and then boom, their next order was execute Order 66. You know, but yeah, no, they're just total jerks in Bad Batch. And I made this joke last night, but you know, it's like as we get further and further into Bad Batch, it just means that D. Bradley Baker has less work to do in terms of voicing, you know, all of the different clones, because they're getting it's like phasing out D. Bradley Baker, you know.
And it's one of the things like when it was, they even made that a little bit of that joke in what was it, The Force Awakens, where it was maybe we should have just gone with the clone army. And it's like, the clone army theoretically was incredibly successful.
Oh yeah,
like,
and was put up against insurmountable odds too.
Yeah,
it's just.
I honestly, I wish they would have.
Just in time.
I hate the way that these guys run towards you. Nice.
They're still here. Okay. Okay. It's good to know that that works.
You know, it's making me miss Bosk a little bit.
That's who they're supposed to be.
Yes.
They look nothing like that. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm like watching them like, what are you? You're not Trandoshans. I genuinely really enjoyed Bosk as a character. Like I enjoyed the like, nope, they hunt Wookiees like it's despicable, but I'm like, oh, like,
it kind of reminds me of the blood feud that like the elites and the brutes had in Halo. It's that level of hatred between Wookiees and Trandoshans.
And getting to see that in the Book of Boba Fett, where it's like he's not worth it, the arm will just grow back, and
can we just appreciate how amazing
oh my god, they look
Chrysanthemum looked in the
he
Book
looked
of Boba Fett?
Great. He did look fantastic. Daddy Wookiee was a movie.
I want to see more Tarful in live action. That's what I want to see. Because he's just this badass Wookiee chieftain who carries on the fighting on Kashyyyk for... God, Tarful was still fighting by the time Fallen Order
Yeah, he was.
happened. So
well, it's like the Wookiee who was in fuck, what is it called? The Old Republic. That you have to go I think it's in the second one, right? You have to go to Kashyyyk, and there's a Wookiee chieftain you have to go find there as well.
I'm in the starboard landing gear section.
I know who you're talking about, and I'm blanking on his name. Yeah.
Copy that, boss. Heading there now.
There's also a really lovable Wookiee character in the High Republic, too. Speaking of freaking Wookiees, super excited to see Gunji again when the Bad Batch kicks off. And if my girlfriend and I, when we got to the Younglings arc for the Clone Wars, Biff, the Ithorian, is our favorite Youngling. It's not a contact. I love Gunji as much as the next person. Don't get me wrong. Little Wookiees with little green lightsabers, amazing. But just something about Biff. He's adorable. He is so adorable. I remember when I was a barista, right before COVID, I got into designing. Of course, when I had the time, into designing like really cool like cup illustrations.
Okay.
And Gunji was. I did Gunji for one of them, but I did Biff on the other, and her and I kept that cup. And it was like our little like travel companion for like 2 years in the car. It was just like the design. But I really hope we get to see Biff. I'm hoping we get to see the rest of those younglings. I think it's really interesting. I think it's entirely plausible that they survived Order 66, because if you're on Kashyyyk during Order 66, there's a decent chance you could escape.
Oh, I agree.
Except for, apparently Luminara was there during Order 66.
Which one was Master Luminara?
Bear's Offie's Master, green lightsaber, black robes.
Oh, Barris's?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's Luminara. And we talked about last time, that was cool.
Nice.
It's like, who is still doing damage to me?
Somebody behind you. What? Hey, what are you doing up there?
This is the only time this thing has had range, too.
I know.
Has been, like, now. But I also... Fuck, of course. There we go, and...
You mean to tell me it had range to kill that Trandoshan up top?
But couldn't do... Yeah, it didn't do shit on
But
that.
not a turret?
I think it's supposed to be like, hey, fighting the elites with a shotgun doesn't technically work, it just makes them angry. But fighting the Transdoshans with it is fine.
What a mess.
Oh, speaking of ghost ships, or ships that, appear out of nowhere, the Spirit of Fire in Halo is my favorite Halo ship, too. I was a big fan of Halo Wars just because of the strategy aspect.
I don't remember that ship. I didn't get all the way through Halo Wars.
I mean, honestly, you don't need to play Halo Wars to get the story. All you need to do is watch the cutscenes, and there it is. But my friend Eli and I, back in the day, we would square off against one another on Halo Wars. I mean, like 3 times a week.
We can do this. We can do this.
That's why I want a really good Star Wars strategy game. If anybody has any recommendations out there, make sure to pass them on to me.
A good Star Wars strategy game. That's a grenade that he just threw at me.
That was rude.
Okay.
Is there any Bacta around that we may have missed? Oh! It's right by the turret.
Nope.
We got one shot at this. Did it work?
One opportunity. I seized everything I ever wanted.
One moment.
And I got a back to tank out of that one. Oh. Okay.
Here's my hot take. Republic Commando is less about the commandos performing their duties, and it's more about them with the severe crippling Bacta addiction.
It's actually just about battling drugs as a veteran.
Yeah. That's the... Oh, God.
Yeah, there we go. Let's take this. Let's make this
Let's
real
take-
quick political.
Damn, I better watch it.
Let's just-
Explosive barrels. IEDs, improvised explosive devices.
This time period in which this game was released into does not make it better. At all.
Okay.
More of those scavs. I hate those bloody droids.
How are they bloody droids if they don't have blood?
Take that, bitch. Why are the clones British?
I don't know. I mean, so's Tarkin.
I mean, Tarkin, it makes sense because like next to Nazis, like British, like James Bond really made British people like it's either really sexy or it's no, you're just clearly a bad guy. You have to speak, and then Cockney is also a little bit of a weird one. That's the only other one I would say is a little bit odd when it came to like dialects as far as going through recent like news. I'm not gonna get any sniper ammo. I didn't get any sniper. Oh no, I probably used it earlier.
You really hate to see it.
Delta Boss, this is 4-0. I'm encountering heavy resistance.
Oh, kind of forgot Delta Squad was on this.
Don't worry, fix that.
Was on this.
Was
on the
on-
ship still.
Yeah, they're still here somewhere.
Oh god. Oh, run. Back to the Bacta.
I just need a fix, man. I just need a little fix, just to see me through. Oh, that's the stuff.
Oh god. Hey man, don't you think you've had too much?
I'll tell you when I've had enough. You know what my problem? You know what my actual problem with this is?
What?
I'm gonna see if I can fix this. And I think this would make it a lot easier. Controller options. All right. Square. No, that's my.
See, I thought for a second you couldn't actually click on the controller configurations. And I was like, how do you know what configuration does what?
I wanted to see like, and one of the things is I think it's getting called Legacy, which is okay. There you go. I was like, fuck, what are you guys? Because they kind of morphed together a little bit earlier, and I was like, okay, you're not a Transocean. I'm sorry. Like they keep using this word, and I don't think they know what the word means.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you're not that.
I guess they resemble Sid from Bad Batch a little more. Because Sid was a Transocean. Maybe they're all angry females. Hmm?
Maybe I was going with they kind of look more like the guy that gets like just offed in the opening scenes of
A New Hope?
A New Hope?
Yes,
He looks more like that.
He gets his arm just chopped off.
I
Obi-Wan has no chill for that, too, by the way.
No activity. Keep your eyes open.
Oh yeah, this is where I want to.
Like, you know, in the prequels, he would just use a Jedi mind trick.
Ambush.
But in A New Hope, he's a grizzled vet. He just chops the arm off, doesn't ask any more questions. You're in for a hell of an episode too. It's pretty great.
I've already been like semi spoiled on parts of it, so I know like scenes, but it's the memes they've made out of it.
Ah, yes, the memes.
So you know what? I think now would be a good time to talk about that. Because we kind of talked about how toxic the fandom was a while back, and there are some people on Twitter who are like, to the people out there that are just enjoying Kenobi, good for you. One of the biggest complaints, if any, I've seen about it is like Star Wars fandom doesn't have the ability for an original idea, because one of the things is like when Cal Kestis walks up and sees the person floating in the water, they're like, "Do you think it's Starkiller?" And it's like, "No." And people are like, "Why would you want Starkiller to come back?" I'm like, I wouldn't mind if someone was like,
Be advised.
"Hey, here
Trainers
is
are lying in
here's Starkiller. Like here is this clone known as Starkiller, and he can do weird things with the Force.
That's all you really would need to say, too.
Yeah, like it's just So triangle being jump is what's throwing me.
Yeah, that's not a jump. For me, I feel like it was always circle.
It could be circle, or if you play competitive Halo, you know bumper jumper. You did bumper jumping.
Right. Bumper jumpers are a menace.